Welcome back to the afternoon slot here at the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championship 2023, and we have a blustery afternoon on our hands. I'm sure you can hear it in our microphones as we see Petari unfortunately come unglued there. Currier Islands facing up against Team Finland. We saw Team Finland, well, pretty much demolish their opponents earlier on this morning, but as the wind has risen, so has the turnover count in this game. And at the moment, it's pretty level, 2-1 as Currier Islands turn over, and that looks like a lot of sand on the back there.
Yeah, it is a blustery one indeed, Hannah. Things have only picked up as far as blowing wind goes from the morning session. Let's see how both these teams handle what's in front of them.
Well, we certainly know from this morning that Team Finland have some pretty solid throws in this breeze, but they seem to be struggling a little bit against the zone look from the Currier Island side. Of course, Currier Island eligible to get all the way to the top of the championship. Unusually, you normally see them holstered in games of nations, which of course there hasn't been at the World Great Grandmasters level since its first ever Great Grandmasters Beach tournament. Sidansra pops through, just looking to try and inch their way over the goal line and the tape here, but that is a demonstration of just how feisty the conditions have become this afternoon.
A doorstep turnover and an additional 15 meters lost to go with it with that blustering wind. A touchy state of affairs here. It's perfection or penalty. And perfection, a very difficult task, even on the best of days.
Well, ironically, sometimes the hardest path can be to throw downwind. That's going to be nearly redeemed. There is a bit of contact, but I think the player on offense has decided, and immediate signalling from the shirt, that no, that was me initiating that contact. You have position. Exemplary spirit shown from Andrea Hirschberger. So Team Finland on offense once again fighting against the breeze as well as their opponents. Oh, that's a really nice option on the far side from Henna Jalavar. Oh, but doing it underneath. Ooh! Can he get the scoop? Sideline calls it down, but on the field there's a mix of opinions. What do you think, Steph?
It was a tough angle. I think I saw that far trailing edge down by the time his hand squeezed the pink Euro disc. It was very close, and Currier Island give the benefit of the doubt. A old school style, if it's spectacular enough, it counts. If it's not, definitive. And they've gone with that for the ruling. And Finland get another one on the board there. That makes it 3-1 for the Finns.
Well, you say an old school vibe of the idea of, you know, if it's cool enough, it should stand anyway. But actually, interestingly enough, at the World Under-24 Championships this year, there was a fiery discussion from some of the game advisor crew saying that that should indeed be a thing. You should be able to kind of, you know, because obviously a lot of the time, you know, game advisors at World Championships are required to make those difficult. No, I'm really sorry. That was really cool, but no, it was definitely not in bounds.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be, well and truly. But there are moments, there are tournaments where the old school way is still acceptable, and this is one of them.
So nice movement, slicing up the far sideline for Currier. Low one through to Eric Duton. But there's a little bit of hang time underneath that, and getting up in the mixer is Sara Vasquez even. But there's going to be a bridge too far down that near sideline. So Kusinen doing a lot of work for Team Finland earlier on this morning. So Currier Island looking to shoot. Being well trapped on the far sideline, swinging around. Rideau. Now, Rudschau. And of course we've got the player gift being used to great effect with the upside down visor look.
I call that the rain catcher.
But of course we've been sporting ours as well. It's a very fetching look. The flamingo, inspired by the local flamingos. Nice dish over the top on the high release to Vili.
This is, of course, a thrower's game now, and this division should have a few of them.
Well, as the opening rap for our opener, recorded by legend Steve Jaguar himself, says, you know, got all of the handlers, all of the, what is it, all the pivots, none of the throws, though?
None of the pivots, all of the throws, that's it. And there, a throw cuts right through everybody, through a couple defenders, through a bit of friendly fire, and smacked away to the ground in the end.
But a stone cold drop, and Ika shall take note of that. You won't see too many from her. And you can see Currier Island trying to set up in more of a poachy type affair. Kainen getting us back underway. Doesn't really have any options available on the break around space. Chucks one over the top. That's a really lovely idea, but unfortunately it is a squandered opportunity. Just bounces off of Michael Hesbacher. So Currier will walk it back up to the goal line. Rashan underneath initially. Well defended.
Woo!
Solid layout, we love that. Getting Stefan Rapazzo what he wants, getting him excited. Oh, that's going to be a little bit too exciting though, trying to run it down. But Raymond van Dijk does not have quite the same level of speed that perhaps he would have had 20 years ago there, Steph.
Yeah, perhaps not. The preservation of greatness, as they call it, Tootin makes the supreme layer catch to keep the possession alive, but the upline throw, not enough touch and a bit too much spin.
Well, Finland making relatively swift work, still having to slide around in the sand. That's a kind of redeeming possession against match coverage this way for Currier Island's defense. You can see there's a little bit of hesitation in Team Finland because Currier Island are playing some very feisty defense indeed. That's a kind of another beautiful visionary throw, but this time it is indeed collected in the end zone. Sara Vaskio on the front corner with no mark in sight, Steph.
Yeah, good looking throw and score there by the Finns, unmarked in the end. But I also want to give a shout out there to the number 29, Hachbaka, just hanging around in the dump space. Every touch he got, a high release backhand that was on point in the bread basket. No messing around, no fancy stuff, not even thinking about throwing a forehand in this mess, just throwing the safe stuff. And sometimes that's what it's about, really, just simplifying your skill set and what you can do in unruly conditions. And it's a nice day still, it's comfortable, but it's not an easy day to throw a bit of plastic around.
The only thing I would say for this afternoon's wind conditions is at least they are relatively consistent. There's nothing worse than a really inconsistent, blustery gust that just kind of catches you off guard when you're least expecting it and you're like, oh, that throw was on when I released it. Whereas this is quite consistent, so hopefully these veteran players that have had decades of experience will be able to adjust. But we're still relatively early stages. Familiar feels for Team Finland. As we said, they had a commanding victory earlier on today. Currier Island looking to take a win against them here. That would be a solid improvement in seeding. A miss on the near sideline, trying to connect with Narayan. Oh, and milks every single drop out of that pass up line to Sruhainen. and into the scooping palms. That's Aaron Spitzer, the Oregon man who came across here. Actually turned up a little bit late to the warm-up for Team Finland this morning, which they got absolutely zero shade thrown at him for, Steph, because indeed he's flown transatlantically to get himself over here to Sardinia, whereas it's a mere hour's difference for the Finns, playing local time here, just coming up to 4 o'clock.
And of course, the mythological Currier Island. I've been there for a holiday before, but a lot of people are still wondering. I can't tell you exactly how I got there or the precise coordinates, but I've been there. Go ahead, look it up on your Google Maps. It's one of those Bermuda Triangle things. It gets sucked up and swallowed away every now and again, but when it's there, it's working.
Well, thus far coming into this game, Team Finland with one of the best goal differentials so far. Of course, very early days, so that's a easily contested title. Natsu O at the top of the standings at the moment. They bageled their opponents in their first game. Whereas 6th seeded Team Finland in front of us now. We'll be featuring them 3 times in the early stages. Maybe more if they can make their way into the championship bracket. A bad miss, unfortunate moment there for Raymond van Dijk. And it's going to be picking it up. Suranta. Oh, a lovely lefty high release dish. Nothing that Van Dijk can do about that one, unfortunately. Just some good spacing and discipline from Vatari.
They do it again. And Finland are off to a fiery start. Sure, they didn't get the bagel. Sure, not quite at the top. But an impressive win this morning. They've gone and done it again. Or it's not done. I don't want to say this one past tense yet. But they are doing it, putting the pressure on, and have a commanding lead here against the Currier Island.
Here in Pool D, of course. And I mean, sitting pretty at the top of the pool standings is, of course, Rundown from the USA, who I'm sure will have a very fiery game against Team Finland. Of course, that's who Currier Island faced this morning. They got a little bit of a clattering there, 13-2 the eventual score.
That one hurts. Or it feels great, depending on who you are.
But it's also difficult, you know, early stages of the tournament, trying to get that cohesion. Denhart, though, with a lovely lead on the far side for Mannix. Narayan, oh, and that's a really nice option. Just doesn't manage to hold on to it, but fantastic effort. You could not have asked anything more from Janssen Wu there. It's an injury call. I think Janssen Wu is going to just recalibrate his back. Certainly this second game slot of the first day of competition, the physios are starting to earn their keep in the tents to the far side of the field.
Yeah, I suspect the longer this tournament goes, the more work they're going to get. And glad to have them here for sure. There's some tournament, junior tournament, sometimes as a commentator I wonder, maybe I can get myself in there for a session. I get a feeling a tournament like this one, they are going to be chock-a-blocka.
Well, it's an interesting one, Steph, because actually the least busy physios I've seen this season were the senior championships, European Ultimate Championships back in Limerick, because so many teams have brought their own full-time medical staff with them, so readied themselves in advance for this sort of competition. That one going to fly out of bounds, relatively short field, so half of the way to go. A little bit of jostling between teammates, lovingly so on the far side. And Denhart's going to bring it back into play. Christoph Denhart, of course, hailing from Leipzig, plays with the Saxy Divers and Uncle John's Band. Some real vintage team names coming out on these player surveys.
Uncle John's band, the Grateful Dead song. Great song. Great band.
But a less great turnover. That one could be a tiny bit ambitious. I'm going to run out of room on this near sideline. That tries to be run down by Sadavasco. From the sideline, Dernart saying basically we're playing Huck and D. I think that's probably relatively accurate at this section of the game anyway. Mannix. Oh, that's a lovely backhand break, but a great run down, and that's going to be completely denied.
Yeah, great D there by Suranta. It looked like that was all set for a hockey assist, but Suranta with the great denial, and it's gone back again now.
Yeah, Schweitzer had a go at it, but that's good coverage from the deep space.
Again and again, this one keeps flipping back and forth.
Oh, but that could be an absolute money shot. Oh, and it is just shy of the tape, but what a gainer finding Vasquio in the deep space. And it makes it a really easy one for Schweitzer to just pop in. Been playing for 40 years, currently residing in Bend is Schweitzer. And I tell you what, I hadn't realised he was quite that tall. 6'7".
Or there could be some potential exaggeration. Yeah, he's a big enough man. 6'7's very tall, though.
That is very tall. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have to have some... yeah, well, Sara Vasquio, who he was sort of stood next to a moment ago, she's no slouch either. She's 174 centimetres, so that's probably about 5'9" and 5'10" in old money. Around that sort of height. The Vasquio couple, residing in Espoo, which of course is the home of some pretty handy ultimate teams. Most notably, of course, Atletico. We've had a lot of success in the women's division up until fairly recent past.
Just had the halftime there as Finland got to 7. So they will switch sides, and Currier Island will receive that pull.
Just patiently swinging it around the back. Plenty of tight match coverage being played by Team Finland. Served against a very close mark indeed, puts a beautiful shot through. Unfortunately, Van Dijk unable to connect with it. Just ran out of room a little bit.
Yeah, back of the end zone came just a bit too quick. The sideline really didn't go right out the back, but Seft wanted that one. He's been a very big voice on this team as that one gets through the cup, and there's another turnover again for Currier.
Yeah, the jaws of the defense close, and Shaw unable to come in and make that block. And Currier Island with a much shorter field. Just need to connect together with those passes. Team Finland putting some very tight marks on the force, which could be exploited with some breaks around. Shaw looking for options. That's Van Dijk. Oh, I love that cheeky toss over the heads of the defenders. Great creativity, and Eric Touton punches in the second on the scorecard for Currier Island. And at long last, Raymond Van Dijk able to collect one of the many passes he'd been thrown for scoring opportunities. That one's so much nicer for him to read, though. Served on a silver platter. So you see quite the height difference there. We talked about some of the taller players on Team Finland, but the little pocket rocket, Pirjo Hestbacka, so dynamic on sand. I tell you what, as a tall defender, I would absolutely loathe to mark her. Watch out for her in this game. She's she had a bit of a quiet one this morning. Kind of came charging through in the latter stages when pushing daisies pushed Team Finland to have to play a couple more offensive points.
Denhart with that pole that goes out of bounds. Denhart, I had a chat with him earlier today as well, saying he's very proud of what he's been doing from a coaching standpoint with the youth in Munich as well. Had, including his spirit gold medals and one playing gold medal, 4 out of 6 gold medals earned from 3 teams in the under 14, under 17, or under 12, under 14, under 17 division. So great to see Denhart not only fighting the hands of time by still hanging out here and playing, but giving back just the same and making sure the Munich youth of tomorrow are ready and able to compete at the highest levels too.
I think it's the Leipzig team, isn't it? Pizza Volante. Well, either way, big shout out to all the Pizza Volante players. Future stars of tomorrow with the current stars of today enjoying the glorious sunset years of their careers. It shines no less bright, just a little bit warmer, as you see Hasbacher going up line with acres of room, but unfortunately a bit too much juice on the throat for Heinonen. In fact, we actually have, I believe, both of the Hasbachers on the field. Michael Hasbacher with the 29, but it's Mannix to bring us back in play. Denhart looking for an early movement, trying to squeeze up line, but not the room there for Menezes. But there's plenty of room in that front corner for Heinonen, and that's an easy goal for Finland. They pop another on the board, 8-2.
Finland are running away with this one.
It's got a very familiar feeling to their game this morning after a bit of adjustment to the breeze. It's just another day at the bank.
Yet they are going to be circling that last game on the end of pool play now to win the pool, but will most certainly, I mean, this game isn't over, but if this can go anywhere close to finishing off the way it started, they're going to have 2 wins, and that'll be enough to be in the top 2. So they will go through on the reshuffle on the winning side of the draw. But of course you want to win your pool.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you want the ideal thing is to win every game, and then you cannot say we got screwed over by the schedule, can you? But it's a very strange format here. It's a 16-team strong tournament, but sort of the initial seeding and allowing these 4 pools of 4. But then the power pool stages isn't the kind of power pool affair you'd normally expect. It's just you play the bottom 2 seeds of another pool if you're the top 2 seeds. So the potential for some more, well, hopefully not too many more blowouts. So we have seen some big old scoreline differences for some of the teams here at the top of the standings, of which Finland are one, but that one is going to go nowhere near any height, nowhere the top of anything, just the top of the sand. Van Dijk, lovely one through to Toft. Seeking the reset. Great match coverage, still starting to rise, and just chucks it away towards the end zone. Toft left with no other options.
Yeah, no options there. Can't, I mean, comes out of her hand, so she gets chalked up with the turnover, so to speak, but that was a coverage sack, as the U.S. Modern players say, using a American football terminology. Everything was, there were no options available, so the thrower got tackled. Well, I mean, had to throw it away for lack of options.
No actual sacking in Ultimate, obviously being a full non-contact sport. But no, it's nice to be back in the NFL season, of course, later on in the year here.
Unless you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan. That one's coming right at us. No, it's not.
Yeah, I've got Joe Burrow in my fantasy league. It was a terrible life choice, it turns out. But I mean, you know, there's still time for him to make a comeback, just like there's time for Currier Island to get their heads back in this game.
There is indeed. The Bengals were also 0-2 last year and went to the AFC Championship game and should have won that one against KC, but I'll bite my tongue on the rest of that.
So a foul called, perhaps off one of these very tight Team Finland forces. Oh, nearly macks it straight back into the hands of the thrower. But redo. I want a redo on that throw for sure. Redo. Nice one into the almost the neck of Vili. Oh, and that is such a beautiful throw. I think, Steph, we have to credit the Finns with just that little bit of extra magic throwing into the breeze, and what a fiery celebration from the number 15.
That was really good. And the head spike was even better. I don't have anything to go with Isaksinen or Iskainen as well as I do with Vili, but what a throw to finish it off. Any throw for completion going right to left right now is a good throw for completion. One that goes cross field, upwind for a score, that much better. Vili looked good, and the head spike, really love to see that. That is a celebratory spike, blowing off a little bit of steam, but zero anger or aggression that comes with it. You're only hurting your own head. If you're willing to bat your forehead like that, we're willing to watch it.
So Currier Island on the charge once more. That one tips off a game of pinball for several, rather than just one. They can't keep their hands on it. Hesbacker with a pick. Might draw us back. And look at the flex there. Absolute guns on Andrea Hushberger.
Yeah, she is ripped.
She's not been skipping arm day, that's for sure.
She loves pick calls.
Any opportunity. That's why she ordered the tank top, right?
Yeah. I'll play if we get tank tops and we pledge to throw lots of picks so I can point them out.
Oh, another visionary put from Team Finland. They are using the further spaces on the field very well. A couple of times they've missed each other in that back soft corner, but that one good enough, and that will take us to 10-2 here, 3 points away from the point cap.
Finland looking strong, continuing to take away every single opportunity, and they're just tidy enough with these throws to score. Look at that one, the big outside in backhand, past one option to the second. Maybe with a little bit of luck, but you got to be good to be lucky. And Ruiden was there on the spot. I wasn't sure initially that was the intended receiver, but after watching again, that was most certainly what...
It's how they drew it up, Steph. Definitely how they drew it up.
Yeah, I'm not even saying what if a play was drawn up, just what the thrower was after there, and I do believe that's what they were chasing.
It's definitely all exceptionally well drilled. I can't think of any reason why these teams wouldn't always train together all the time, but that is a really fantastic catch for Currier Island. Well, that is indeed how they drew it up, throwing to coverage. The layout required, but the layout indeed delivered by Eric Tuton.
Is it Tuton or is it Tootin? Because that was rootin' tootin' beautiful, that layout there. Though it may be Tuton, but that was a fabulous catch. The rain catcher not needed for catching any rain, and maybe just gave him just enough lift there as he caught flight to stay afloat. Here's another look, that right hand hanging in front of the defender. He shows him, hey, is this what you're looking for? Because I've got it. I'm going to make it count for a goal. And they're still behind. Can't get too excited, but a reason to be excited for anything, and you might as well take it, especially playing from behind.
Well, and a much-needed little sip of hydration there to restore his energy banks. Got a little Camelback in the bag. A smart choice, I think, probably for a beach tournament.
The Camelback.
Yep. Well, there's nothing worse than when you casually you're running to the line, you throw your water bottle into the sand, and then when you return, you think, oh no, I've done myself a mischief here, because especially if you've got the kind of sucker top bottles where it's all covered in sand. Schweizer. Oh, nice easy shot through. The continuation from the O-line sometimes for this Team Finland side is just a thing of beauty. Rahainen able to just easily cruise through to that front corner and receive the goal. So 11-3, 2 points away from game 14 Finland, but Currier Island showing that they can do a little bit of damage in the late stages too.
Yeah, Schweizer gives us a little bit of dance move after the assist here, a little fist pump to go with. He likes it, he's feeling it, doing the bull dance. We don't get the replay on the fist pump, but I'll tell you as much, he was fired up for giving that one.
And the sun has re-emerged, which we love to see.
It's just about behind us now, just about. It is behind us, looking at our shadows.
But I have to say, we were doing a little bit of a workout earlier in the break between games, and it is nice to have that, maybe not quite this much breeze, but it is very humid out on the pitches here in Sardinia. So Currier looking to advance forward, unfortunately trying to make the scoop. Dernhardt unable to keep possession. Great effort from Touton laying out, but an easy pass goes through to Vili. Currier trying to just poach into the lanes, sit and sag. Zone style defense. Hesbacher just always present to anchor this Team Finland offense when they need him. Vili now. Good mix of righties and lefties on Team Finland, also helps in breezy conditions. Just remaining patient. Hesbacher immediately dishing back as soon as he's thrown to. Not a disc hog by any stretch of the imagination, as the request is made for it push through the cup.
Vili was begging for it in the front there. Thought he was open enough, but Asikinen did not want to risk it.
Asikinen knows what he wants and asks for it. Completely noshes off the free open crash through the cup. Hesbacher now. Back in nicely. Kusunen. Kusunen around. And Vili coming back out of the end zone. Getting himself involved. This is stoic, but a timeout call just to stretch the clock that extra couple of seconds. Vili getting perhaps a little bit, dare we say, tired out there on the pitch?
No, these great grandmasters could run forever. There is no tiring in them.
Well, a timeout call on the field. We're going to take a very brief, but don't go anywhere as we see a spill and thrill from the Gatorade bottles. Back in action here, second half of pool stages. Pool D in front of us, and it's another currently very convincing victory, almost in the bag for Team Finland, but Currier Island with some intense zone defense, looking to try and put this one away. Time has expired now during this point, so we will play this one and add to the highest tally. So unlikely, but possible to be a game to 12. Could well be game to 13 still. But based on the way the patience of this Team Finland offense has been working, could easily see them punch another in here. Really trying to look dangerous, going for the difficult throw. Hasbeka nearly there available. A lot of the time Team Finland are looking off the options that are open in front of them. Oh, but that's a cheeky one. Just about makes it past. Great bid from the defender. Jessica Toft trying to win the disc back, but another celebration, emphatic. Asikainen.
I jumped in there, Hanny. Sorry about that, but I was feeling it. I saw it coming. I saw if Asikainen scores this goal, he's gonna head spike it again. We got it out of him. But beyond that, the patience that you talked about is what defined that Finnish possession. Before the timeout, after the timeout, they still needed more than a half dozen throws before they converted there. Nothing came easy, but patience, low releases, fighting against this wind that they're trying to battle into. And we get the head spike to finish. That's a double head spike for Asikainen. That is worth noting.
Well, we are nearly through with this game. One more point potentially to be scored because Team Finland are shooting downwind, and Currier Island have punched them in, but generally speaking on their downwind possessions, Steph. Although getting a hold here into the breeze would be potential something to fire themselves up. Certainly Jessica Toft is fired up, having thrown herself at the Golden Sands here in Sardinia. But what an exceptional pull that was. Landing and stopping very deep. Could it be our first Callahan of the tournament? Oh, it just goes for the block instead of the catch. What a missed opportunity.
Catch your D's in that sense could be catch your Callahans, convert your D catches.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be anything fancy. That one requires the layout, but it is down. Pitula asked too much on that one. So Currier with the disc back, not having conceded to Callahan. They have the opportunity still to keep this game alive. Low backhand, requires the layout from Wu, but we know he can deliver them. A beautiful shot into the breeze. Oh, this is more like it. Martin Green now. That one just about clung onto by Hirschberger. Call from the sideline saying, come on folks, get out and help her, but it's a little bit too late. That's just released the valve.
Release the valve, and another chance here for Finland to close this one out. They had the chance on the Callahan opportunity, the chance from the goal line stand, and now they'll have one more chance for the whole field and the wind behind them.
Oh, that's great defensive coverage downfield. Jansson Wu preventing the easy goal for Team Finland. Massive shout out to Andrea Hirschberger, actually. Started playing Ultimate just 6 years ago in Guam, so of course representing the Guam Ultimate Guam Butts. We saw in Limerick last year. She's represented them the Asian Oceanic Ultimate Club Championships. The Team Finland to pick us back up. Jari Koviko. The Dragon Lover. Nice inside shot. Again, the smoothness of some of these throws Oh, it's an ambitious one, but there's the height mismatch to be exploited, and that will finish up this game for us. A final goal reeled in by the long, lofty arms of Henna Yalovara.
Great catch to finish it up by Yalovara. Height mismatch, but still a beautiful read. Defense all up in her grill. She did manage to get the wrists above the fingertips to squeeze it in. Here's another look at it, but a great play to finish the day for Team Finland. That is going to wrap things up here from the showcase fields in the southern beaches of Sardinia.
At least for now, because of course we've still got more games to play this fine afternoon. In fact, on our live stream coming up next, we have quite the battle. We have Spangled, the renamed champions from this last tournament, of course, Team Mirto, against Flash from GB.
Grandmasters.
Great Grandmasters, yes, Grandmaster
Flash. I get it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why they've just gone for Flash. I believe they used to be called Grandmaster Flash when they played in the Grandmasters division, but now that they've aged up into the Great Grandmasters division, they've lost their Grandmaster. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us here on our live stream coverage. You've been watching UltiTV on the beach in Sardinia as all of the players there give our drone a little bit of a wave. Hats off to another victory for Team Finland. Currier Island still winless in the tournament, but it's all yet to be played for. We'll see you in a few minutes for the next game.
Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.